Look at this molecule. Pretty cute, right? Actually, this molecule is in the rice you had for breakfast this morning, in the pancit you ate during medianoche, and in the creamer that you added to the coffee you're probably having right now. Don't worry, it is not poisonous. Besides, without it, you wouldn't have the energy to get up and watch this video in the first place. This molecule is called a carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are organic compounds which are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms. It has a general formula of CH2ON, where N represents the number of carbons in the molecule. It typically follows a 1:2:1 ratio of carbon to hydrogen to oxygen. They serve as the primary source of energy for the body, playing a crucial role in various physiological functions. Carbohydrates are broken down into the primary source of energy for the body, playing a crucial role in various physiological functions. It also takes the form of compounds like fructose, cellulose, starch, glycoproteins, and chitin, having different uses like maintaining the structural integrity of cells, storing of excess energy, giving strength to the exoskeleton of crustaceans and insects, and supporting the overall growth and development of the organism.
Carbohydrates are classified into three main categories: monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides.
Esophagus. As various foods travel down our esophagus, their components break down into carbohydrates. When we eat fast food and drink soft drinks, we get glucose. When we eat fruits, we get fructose.
When we drink milk and eat dairy products, we get galactose.
Now, do you guys know what glucose, galactose, and fructose are? They are examples of monosaccharides, which are simple sugars. From the name itself, monosaccharide. Mono means one and saccharine means sugar. Monosaccharides are the simplest form of carbohydrates, which are essentially the building blocks of other more complex carbohydrates. They cannot be hydrolyzed or broken down into simpler carbohydrates.
It has two main classifications: aldoses and ketoses. Monosaccharides are simple sugars that are usually named with the suffix "-ose", like glucose, the most common monosaccharide. In humans, glucose is used in cellular respiration that produces adenosine triphosphate or ATP, while in plants, it is the product of photosynthesis but is also a substrate for respiration that provides energy for cellular activities. Its chemical formula is C6H12O6 and is also known as the cell fuel. Other common monosaccharides include galactose, which is found in dairy products, and fructose, commonly found in many plants and is often bound to glucose in fruits. That is why it's called the fruit sugar.
As we can see here in the figure, aldoses have their carbonyl group at the end of the carbon chain, while it is in the middle for ketoses. In the next figure, we can see the juxtaposition of the skeletal formulas of the three monosaccharides. Glucose and galactose are aldoses, while fructose is a ketose.
Diyos ko, pagod na ako. Hindi pa ba tayo tapos mag-video?
Te, magbibideo pa ako. Tas si Alyssa, tas si Alex pa.
Ano ba yan? Wala na ako energy eh.
Hindi ka ba nag-umagaan?
Ano? Saging lang.
Te, pinaggagawa mo sa buhay mo. Topic nga natin carbohydrates. Tas hindi ka man lang kakain ng maayos. Kaya...
Start your day the healthy way. Beat energy gap. Beat energy gap. Carbohydrates every day. Eat the healthy way.
Ever wondered how when you drink chocolate milk or any other sweet products, you can beat the energy gap? Well, that's because of the molecules called disaccharides. Simply put, disaccharides are the combination of two monosaccharides linked together through a glycosidic bond. Disaccharides are one of the major sources of energy in the human diet and are typically used as sweetener and the dietary component in various food products. This molecule is formed whenever two monosaccharides undergo a dehydration reaction, otherwise known as a condensation reaction or the dehydration synthesis. Confusing? I got you. Just remember the acronym MMDD, meaning two monosaccharides form a glycosidic bond which only occurs when it involves carbohydrates during dehydration synthesis, which then forms a whole new disaccharide. Now, there are three common disaccharides, which are the maltose, sucrose, and lactose molecules. First, let's talk about maltose. Maltose, or the malt sugar, is formed by a dehydration reaction between two glucose molecules. This molecule is typically found in sprouting grains, malt-based energy drinks, or beer. A few examples of food items that have maltose are pancakes, sweet potatoes, and pizza. Next is sucrose, which is the combination of the glucose and fructose molecules. This can be called what is commonly known as table sugar. Sucrose is found in sugarcane, sweet fruits, and storage fruits like carrots, where examples include soft drinks, sweets, and other forms of desserts. Lastly, we have lactose. You've heard of lactose intolerance where some of us get sick after drinking milk, right? These people get sick because their bodies cannot tolerate the lactose inside milk products, which is why lactose is called the milk sugar. This molecule is formed after the monosaccharides glucose and galactose form a glycosidic linkage. Lactose is a source of energy for infants and mammals, which may come in the form of dairy products such as ice cream, yogurt, and cream cheese.
Now let's cover the big boy carbohydrates, polysaccharides. Before that though, let's discuss how they are created in the first place. Remember how disaccharides are created by the combination of two monosaccharides? Well, polysaccharides use the same glycosidic bonds that disaccharides use in order to form, except that they use hundreds of thousands of monosaccharides instead of just two. Now, you have two types of polysaccharides, storage and structural. Both of their functions are in their names too. Storage polysaccharides work by storing the smaller monosaccharides, usually for later use. It's basically when you put eggs in a tray instead of just clumsily holding them in your hands, so you don't have to eat them off the ground later. Storage polysaccharides are larger molecules that are insoluble in water, so if placed in some, they won't break down and whatever creature has them can use them later on. Some types of storage polysaccharides are starch and glycogen. Starch can have two forms, amylose being unbranched starch with a helical structure, and amylopectin, which is the branched starch. Both can be found in something you might know famously as either corn, flour, or potato starch. And for good reasons, as they are the main forms of starch people can have from plants. But of course, they also come from your bread, pasta, cereals, beans, and other stuffs, which is why these are usually called high-carb foods, which provide much energy needed by the body. Glycogen, on the other hand, is the only form it comes in. It's your body's main method of energy storage by dissolving it back into glucose whenever your blood sugar levels fall, which is important for your body since it needs energy constantly, especially for the brain. You can get your glycogen from your brain, kidneys, and white blood cells, which you can just get from your local market or hospital.
Ever ponder the backstage secrets of living organisms?
Today, let's take a chill dive into the carbohydrate realm.
It's not rocket science, it's more like the cool kid club of biology.
Let's start with cellulose, the primary carbohydrate in plant cellulose, comprising of straight chain of glucose units. Cellulose is abundant and forms the rigid structures enclosing plant cells.
Humans, unfortunately, cannot digest cellulose, yet it serves a crucial role as dietary fiber in the large intestine, aiding in proper digestive function. It's like the gentle nudger in your digestive system, ensuring everything flows smoothly. So thanks cellulose for keeping you on schedule in the bathroom department.
But wait, there's more. We process cellulose to make millions of papers.
So every time you take notes, just remember, you're borrowing nature's penmanship.
Meanwhile, peptidoglycan is vital for the structure of bacterial cell walls, offering support and resisting collapse. The peptidoglycan is a heteropolymer composed of polysaccharide chains which are cross-linked to short peptides and plays a crucial role in bacterial survival. When targeted by antibiotics, peptidoglycan demonstrates resilience in the microbial dating pool.
Chitin, a polysaccharide that strengthens fungal cell walls and insect exoskeletons, serving as a waterproofing agent. Acting as a natural hard hat, it helps insects regulate water loss without hitting the gym.
Insects like beetles and ants rely on chitin for their exoskeletons, while fungi, including mushrooms, use it for added toughness in cell walls. It consists of glucose monosaccharides, except these glucose monosaccharides are amide derivatives called N-acetylglucosamine. In summary, cellulose, peptidoglycan, and chitin exemplify the remarkable diversity of carbohydrates in sustaining various biological structures from plant cell walls to energy storage mechanisms and structural support in living organisms.